It's the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast.
Oh, hey. Oh, you're both together. I thought you were going to be like two separate Zoom screens.
Oh.
That's what I was told. This works. This is great. So on my left, Jade, and on my right, Aubrie. I got that right?
Yeah, sorry if my cat is going to meow, but she'll stop.
It's no problem. Believe me, I've dealt with much crazier.
This is Jade.
Yep.
This is Aubrie.
I've been practicing it all day because I mix people up all the time. So, but I totally got it. Got it. So welcome to the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast. I'm so happy to have you guys here. How are you guys?
Great. We just ate some poke for lunch and some Halloween candy.
Oh, nice. You know, my wife and I just bought a bunch of Halloween candy from like the club because we live in a back street and we get a lot of kids. Nice. And it's on a Sunday this year. So we're expecting a huge crowd. And not only do we buy like the little things, but we get like the big bars and we give them away to like people who have like cool costumes.
You're the cool house.
We are the cool house. People know to come to us.
Because nobody trick-or-treats here. One time I was like, I'm so excited. I got the candy ready. I'm like, I'm going to sit here and watch movies and then like tan out. Not a single person came.
Yep. I know.
Dang it.
I know. And it's really disappointing. Yeah. But there's a but to my story. We eat it. We eat it before the day comes. So I'm glad to see that. It looks like Doug from Big Feet is trying to enter the room. I didn't know that was happening. Let's get him in. Doug, are you there? Can you hear me?
I can, Mike. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, excellent. I was just checking everybody was on.
We're all here. We're all good. I can't see you though, unless you don't want me to see you. You know, whatever.
Oh, no one wants to see me, my friend. No one wants to see that today. So, well, look, I'll disappear then. If and we've got Aubrie and Jade together, right?
Yes.
We got them together. We're all set. We even got the cat.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. Well, look, you don't need me then. I will leave you to have a wonderful conversation, but on the end of the phone if anybody needs me.
Thanks,
great.
Doug.
Doug, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. All right. So, where are you guys?
At my house in Nashville.
Nashville. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I get a lot of people from Nashville. So your debut album, Breaking Point, I was lucky enough to hear it because like I get cool perks by doing this. It comes out next Friday, October 22nd. I love it.
Thank you.
I really, really love it. And I don't know. I kind of thought of this thing. I don't know if you're going to like it, but like I felt like Dolly Parton meets Black Keys meets Veruca Salt. Does that work for you?
Love it.
Because that's kind of the vibe I got from it. I really love it. I was reading a few things and you face some challenges as far as like being pigeonholed in like the Americana or folk kind of roots genre. This album breaks all of that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we love Americana. We feel like we've obviously been embraced by Americana with our solo records, but one of the things we had in common was kind of our rock edge, and this record I feel like pushes fully into that realm. And we've been played on alternative radio and stuff that I've never been really played on before, so that's been fun. And we embraced the rock, and it all kind of just happened organically. We weren't like we're gonna make it. It wasn't like calculated. Really, nothing that we did on this record was super calculated, but it just kind of organically evolved that way, and it's been really fun.
Well, that's the most amazing thing about it. Now, you guys met. Now, did you know each other, or were you like fans of each other before last year?
We played back-to-back at Americana Fest.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2019, I walk into this venue. I'm supposed to play in like 20 minutes, and Aubrie was up on stage just killing it. And I was like, I'd never heard of her before. And I always kind of like primarily listened to like older music. I wasn't very explorative with like new artists. Like now I am inspired to be, but then I wasn't so much. And so I hadn't discovered her music, and I became an instant fan, started following her on social media. And a few months later, I was preparing for another solo record, and I had written this song that was like very personal to me. And I just couldn't get her sound out of my head of like that moment of singer perform. And so I was like, might as well just ask her if she wants to do harmonies on it.
Sure.
And that's how it really was supposed to be, like that. And then everything else just like aligned. It's almost like somebody just like, we just got in this roller coaster and like just took off with with creatively, like just things just happened like they were meant to happen or something. There were little challenges or no challenges really. Somebody asked us earlier, what's the most challenging thing, like, or like some difficulties you guys have had? And I'm like,
we're not being like, we're not hiding anything. We swear there's literally not any.
Yeah, I was like, the hardest thing was having to get my waitressing shifts covered to record the record. Like,
we've had plenty of challenges, like with our solo stuff, but like with this project, everything really just aligned.
Yeah, well, you can definitely hear it, number one. And without me knowing any information, if I were to hear it blindly, it sounded like you guys known each other your whole life. Like that's how, you know, you're saying organic. That's how organic it really sounds and really is. There's so many elements in it too. It's like vintage rock, modern pop, country. It even kind of has like a punk energy to it. You know, and you can hear so many influences in it. So who are some of your biggest influences? You can do it each, or just if you have like a collective influence.
Yeah, we grew up listening to old country, both of us. We also discovered rock and stuff, and I love like Led Zeppelin, CCR era, and I think you do too. And then also we grew up like Nirvana and, you know, the White Stripes and
The Cure and
Mazzy Star, yeah, the Strokes, and like, you know, so that era of rock too. And I think all of that kind of, we bonded over loving like Wrecking Ball by Emmylou Harris, and
as like our all-time, like, yes, this song is
yeah,
so epic.
And so we do have a lot of similar influences, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you said, you feel like when you listen to it, you think we've known each other forever, and I feel like we definitely have known each other in a past life, because all the similarities and the synchronicities and like little things,
not just musically, but like
personally. It's weird. It's super, super freaky. Like,
listen, it works.
Yeah.
You know, it works. I have so many things like that in my life too, where it's just, you know, how did this happen? How did this connection happen? It's meant to happen. You know, 2020 was, you know, people want to erase that year. But if you can always find a silver lining in something, it's definitely something like that.
For sure.
So glad you guys made it together. It's insane. It really is. So Aubrie, what's your musical background? Where did it all start? I know you have a few albums previously to Jackson+SELLERS Breaking Point. You have Far From Home and New City Blues.
Yeah.
So where did it all start? You know, were you in a musical family?
Yeah, so I grew up in Nashville. My dad played music. He played with Ricky Skaggs and Vince Gill, and he's a singer and songwriter. And then my mom is also a country singer, Leanne Womack. And then my stepdad is a producer and a publisher. So I've grown up completely immersed in music and in Nashville. So I grew up around it. I actually felt a lot of pressure because of that. So I was scared to do my own thing. And I also wasn't sure, I was never forced. Like I was never like, I have to have a career in music. But with music being such a deep part of me, I mean, even my grandparents sing, and on my mom's side, my grandfather was a country DJ. And then on my dad's side, his whole family was a gospel group, you know? So, so it's been going back generations. Music is really in our family. So I knew it would be a part of my life, but I didn't know what I was going to do specifically. So it wasn't, I got my first guitar when I was 13, which is another thing that we share. We started playing guitar around the same time, and writing songs and stuff. And, it wasn't until I was probably 19 or 20 when I really started to go, okay, I have kind of an idea of what I want to do, and started writing more seriously, and then, you know, getting a publishing deal eventually, and then making my first record, New City Blues. And everything's been kind of a slow process for me, like an organic process. And I recorded that record in 2013. It didn't come out until like 2016, you know, and it was kind of similar with my second record. So this happening so quickly and everything falling into place so quickly was really different from what I'm used to.
Right. And that's got to feel pretty good too. That's got to feel cool.
Yeah.
Rewind 1 second, because you said Leanne Womack, that's your mother. Now, I'm not really well versed in country music. I live in New York. We don't even There's not even a country music station here. But that is a huge name. That's a really big name. So you said it so casually. So I just wanted to go back and just tell everyone, just a little name drop. That's amazing.
She's a big deal in country. Yeah. You know, it's like, it's a challenge for me because, you know, I feel like in a way I think when you grow up with someone who's well known, you feel like living in their shadow a little bit. So it's been a big part of me. I don't usually even talk about it unless it's brought up, you know,
right.
But it's like, I, you know, try to do my own thing so I can feel like I have my own identity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I had, you know, a similar situation. I had Niall Marr on the show, whose father is Johnny Marr of the Smiths.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
He's a musician as well. And, you know, he feels like that too. And he's like, we didn't even talk about it at all, you know, and because you're your own individual person making your own thing without the name doesn't matter. But I just thought it was funny how casual that was. So Jade, how about you? Your musical background, how did it all start for you?
Well, one thing I'll say is when I did see Aubrie perform, I didn't know her history. Like, I didn't know that she had been so successful, like other than just like seeing photos on her Instagram and watching her live performance and listening on Spotify. Like, I didn't deep dive into her stuff until we were actually making the record. And so like I didn't, you know, obviously, like you said, her mom has a big name and she's very wonderful, but I didn't make that connection when I like fell in love with Aubrie's music. And I think that that's so cool and like special that she can get out there and like blaze her own trail. And then it's like, oh yeah, well also there's this, but that like you don't use that to get to where.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which I thought was super cool. And also I was like, wait, what? You know, kind of like, huh? But then also I remember when we were making the record, just like lying in bed, couldn't sleep, staying with Aubrie here in Nashville last year, and then just kind of like, I've never really Googled her. Let me like Google this person I'm making this record with. And she's like on a late night show, and I'm like, oh, you know, because for me, I didn't grow up. My dad loves music, but I grew up in the restaurant business. Like my dad opened a restaurant when I was a baby. I basically lived there as a child, and then when I was 12, he opened another restaurant, moved the family to this small town, and it took it took about 7 years until they started making money and could like hire their employees. So like as a child of parents who had done that, I just grew up working when I was really young, and music was kind of like an escape for me. And after we get home from working at the restaurant, like my dad would usually like turn on like we didn't have a TV growing up, so he would like play like, you know, Townes Van Zandt or Bob Dylan or just like these artists that were like very songwriting forward. And that's how we would bond like after we worked at the restaurant. And so that was kind of just like my escape. And when I started writing, we were the same age, we were like 13 when I started playing guitar and stuff, and just gravitated more towards like lyrically driven stuff. And like that's what I wanted to be a songwriter. I knew that. I didn't know I was going to be performing. And it's a long road. You know, it's just, I used to want things to happen so quickly, especially when I was like 13, 14, 15. I'm like, it's got to happen to me. It's got to happen right now. And then all of a sudden it's like 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and you get the record, like, you just get a record deal, and then you get a record deal, and then your record doesn't come out for 3 years. And then it's just like, you kind of just have to like put your hands up. And this project, I feel like, was such a good testament to that, but it also like was the least challenging of projects that I've ever worked on.
Sure.
And so I'm very excited.
Yeah. and you very well should be. It's like I said, it's so good. I just want to touch on one point too. Like when I get these interviews, like Doug, he'll send me an email and there'll be a little blurb about the band or whatever. And I mean, listen, let's face it, there's a million artists out there, especially nowadays where it's all DIY. You can do it yourself if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But then when you look deeper into it, you're like, whoa, holy shit. Like, what? Like when I got the email, I had no idea you guys already had solo careers.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? When you dig deeper into it, it's crazy. And I find that mind blowing that the way this whole thing connected. So one more thing, Jade, you worked with Mike Ness of Social Distortion. on your 2 albums, Wilderness and Gilded. So was that like a dream? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, no, that was definitely a dream, because I had, besides, I kind of started waitressing full time and doing my musical career simultaneously, because my parents did open the restaurant where it was just ours and it wasn't like another business partner. They were able to like enslave their children to work full time. So I started waitressing a bit, and at the same time as when I picked up the guitar, and my dad noticed some things in me and encouraged me to, he's like, you could waitress and make this amount of money, or if you go sit with your guitar on Saturday night for an hour, I'll give you the same amount of money, and all you have to do is play guitar in front of people. So he kind of like pushed me into performing. Forgot your original question.
Mike, it's all good. Mike Ness.
Oh, duh. Anyway, so I did a lot of coffee shops and alleyways and street corners, like with my guitar up, and like really what my dad instilled in me is like, play anywhere you can, because you never know who's going to be there. This industry is like about connections and things, and so I'd kind of play everywhere I could, and I did that for about 10 years, and slowly started giving up. Like subconsciously, I just like, I've been trying this. I like homeschooled myself. I literally done everything I could to make this career my career and be able to like live off of it. And then all of a sudden it was like, had been 10 years. And so my plan B was to go to music school, and I went to like a music college, and a bunch of other life things in my life happened that just kind of felt like it was altering my dream. And my dream was becoming more dim and unreachable. And then at that same time, I started rediscovering music as something fun, and that wasn't so like career dense and trying to get a place. And so I was like home from winter break or something, and I was like, I just need music to be fun. Like, let's just go play an open mic. And Aubrie knows like I'm very calculated and planned, so me just going and playing a random show is like nothing I'd ever done. And that's when Mike's wife, she happened to be at the coffee shop, and she filmed me on her phone and messaged it to him. And a few weeks later, I was back at school and college, and I was like cleaning my bathroom and just not in a good place. And then I get this phone call, and I pick it up, and he's like, "Hey, it's Mike Ness." I thought it was a joke, like, right? I thought somebody was like taking away shade. But it turned out that it was him, and he was interested in working with me, and that's resulted into a couple records. I'm in contract to do one more record with him, and he's really helped me a lot. So
Wow, that's awesome. And that's one of those things too, where like you see it in a movie, like you're cleaning the bathroom, and like your life changes with a phone call. And I'm like, oh, that
index in one hand, like a rag, like I'm looking at myself, I like dog shit staring at myself. I mean, I was like, no way, like I'll never forget that.
So I always say like that's something that's only in the movies, but apparently not. So that's really cool. So Aubrie, you've characterized your sound as garage country. So what does that term mean to you?
Yeah, so when I first started recording and doing pre-production for my first record, I obviously knew I had like a big rock influence, and actually two of my favorite records are collaborations, which were Raising Sand by Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, and the record that Family Rose that Jack White produced for Loretta Lynn. And so there was something about like that rock influence combined with country influence that really spoke to me. And when I was doing pre-production for my first record, we were in there kind of doing some demos with acoustic guitar, and I was just really not feeling it. And that was when the decision was made, like, I'm only going to make my records with electric guitar. So from then on, like, I kind of pushed more in a rock direction. And so garage country to me kind of means this, like, I'm influenced by blues and bluegrass and country and rock and all these different things, but it's got kind of this garage rock undertone or overtone, if you will, to it. And then this record, our duo record, I feel like pushes pretty much straight rock almost, with a little bit of that.
Absolutely. And Jade, would you say that your some punk influence comes from working with Mike Ness?
Yeah, well, as far as like the way that my records sound that I've done with Mike, we're obviously influenced with him because it was, he produced them, but I was a fan of Social Distortion, which is his band, before I worked with him, and so I was more influenced like in his own work before I got the opportunity to work with him, and that kind of seeped in. But I always wrote primarily like in a more folk forward direction. Like I was so obsessed with like songs and like the craftsmanship of a song. I focused more on lyrics and that structure, whereas I feel like Aubrie was more interested, or more interested than I was, in like the sonic spaces of the songs. And so I think that's why we worked really well together, because she, you know, she just was able to kind of like show me this new way of looking at songs, and I am, you know, it was such a fun process for me.
Yeah. When did you start recording the album?
Last October, a year ago.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how long did you guys know each other before you hit the studio?
We literally met once.
Yeah. One time.
Wow.
It was like, hey, fly across. You stay with me. Yeah.
I know. And yeah, I lived in a guest room, and we'd like drove to the studio every day, and we're fast friends. It's like we knew each other before.
I'm telling you, it's the theme of this episode. I can't believe it. Like 20 minutes in, you guys make an album like that.
Like, I know, like, you know, for, you know, 99.999% of the world don't know us on a personal level. They just see like interviews or like shows, and it's like we look a lot more extroverted than we are. Like, I'm very, you know, growing up in the way that I did, where I was always working with my family or like burying myself in songwriting, I didn't socialize. Like, I didn't get like that opportunity, and I always felt a little uncomfortable around girls, like girlfriends, and like the whole like, let's get ready at my house and go to this party, get like the movies. Like, I never had that. And Aubrey's kind of like the first like really true girlfriend that I've had, besides like my sister. And it just was super cool.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And you know, in a way, I started doing this because I wouldn't say socially awkward, but just kind of reserved, quiet, you know. And I was like, I want to break through that. And so I started doing this, started talking to like people on the internet. And here I am 60 something episodes later, and I'm doing like radio shows and all this other stuff. I would have never imagined in a million years. Once you like break out of that shell and you face the, if you want to call it a fear, it's really rewarding.
For sure.
It really is. So there's a few tracks available now from the debut album, Breaking Point, coming out October 22nd. Again, The Devil is an Angel, Waste Your Time and Hush. There's a music video for The Devil is an Angel. I love the video. I just watched it just right before this. I mean, obviously it's very simple concept, but it works. It's just, just like the music, just like the album, just like you guys, it just works. It's perfect. And I love seeing music videos because I feel like they're kind of a lost art. Like, I feel like they've made their way back around, definitely. But I feel like there was a period where you really didn't see music videos, you know? And I know that has a lot to do with MTV not playing music. But I'm glad to see that again. How long did it take for the album to be completely done, like start to finish, writing, producing it and everything?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, it happened very quickly. Within a couple months, I think we started everything and then had recorded it initially. I think it wasn't until December that we like mastered and mixed and mastered and like completely finished it. But it was pretty much done before that. And then, you know, I don't remember when we did the photo shoot and all that for it, but sometime, what month is it? Sometime this year, earlier this year.
It's hard to keep track of time now, I know.
But it really did all happen very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what's so crazy is like I've never made a record kind of come out a year later or have songs come out, you know, it's just, it all happened very quickly. And it's fun that way because it's still new to us. Like,
sure.
You know, usually like by the time your record comes out, you're like, I'm bored of this.
Yeah. Like, don't even release it. I don't even want to hear it anymore. Yeah.
But now,
that's really cool. So not only is it available digitally, but it will be available on vinyl and CD as well. You doing the cassette thing or no cassette?
I want to do a cassette so bad. But
I love the cassette.
But maybe like if y'all go buy the record, maybe they'll be like, we can make a cassette.
Yeah. Same goes with music videos. We'll put more out if people buy the record.
Exactly.
Then we'll have money to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, in December is when the physical copies come out, so that'll be cool. We'll do some more stuff around that too. So we have like the digital release October 22nd, and the pre-orders are up and everything.
Okay.
will be available in December.
And now you can pre-order the vinyl. You can pre-order on jacksonsellers.com, aubresellers.com, jadejackson.com. It all brings you to the same place.
Yeah.
But it'll also be available on Amazon, Bandcamp, all that stuff, right?
Yes, everywhere.
Very easy to get. Yeah, I love vinyl, and every time I'm definitely going to get one of you guys. I'm pre-order right after this because I like to not only support the artists that I have on the show, but just support, the arts in general.
Thank you.
And you guys are on Instagram, Jackson Sellers Music.
Yeah.
Couple of fun questions.
Okay.
If you're down, we can do it individually, or let's do it individually. So, Jade, your biggest pet peeve?
When people are late.
Yeah.
I feel like we should value each other's time more, and musicians are big on that. They're like,
yeah.
Oh, like,
I didn't even know that, but I'm on time to everything.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
I'm early, actually.
That's why it works so well. I can't stand that either. I do a lot of live shows. Like, this isn't live, but like if it's on at 12 o'clock and you're on at 12:01, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm live, you know what I mean? Like, you're messing up my everything. All right. What about you, Aubrie? Pet peeve?
Mine, I have so many pet peeves.
Me too.
I really get annoyed by slow walkers. I've noticed. Really, people make fun of me for how fast I walk. Like, I just don't know. I don't know why, but yeah, I get annoyed by slow walkers. I also don't like it when people honk their horns when they're driving. Unless it's an emergency, let's not be honking.
Right. Those are great ones, and I could tell that you have like 30 more.
I don't even know these things, so I don't cross the line.
Yeah. I can't stand slow walkers either. I am a very fast walker. Like, my wife's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "To the store. I'm going or the aisle or whatever." Like, what are we waiting for? Unless you have like a disability or you're old, move.
Totally.
And the honking the horn thing. I live in New York, so that's just the background ambiance of the whole state. So
yes, I know. That's so many, and I hate to say this because Jade just moved from California, but so many people are moving here from LA, and then I'm starting to hear more honking, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We're the friendly city.
Right. No, it's funny. We actually just took a road trip to Colorado, and once you leave the tri-state area, which is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you realize how different people really are.
Yeah.
People say hello to you. They let you go in traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Here, everyone's just trying to, I don't even know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're just angry and aggressive, and it's absolutely nuts.
I know.
But it's nice to see. I mean, I lived in Connecticut for a while too, which is totally different than New York.
Yeah.
And when I first moved there, people, I'd be in the store and somebody would be like, "Hi, how you doing today?" I'm like, "Who are you? Why are you talking to me?" But then I got used to it, and I was like, "Oh, I kind of like this. This is nice."
Yeah.
Then I come back to visit here, and it's in my blood, so it just starts all over again.
Totally.
You're just gonna get in your car and go.
Yeah. What really is funny is on the way home so we drove all the way to Colorado, and when we came back, it was just, there was nothing. There was no traffic until you hit New York. As soon as you get into New York, people are screaming at you, beeping, you're sitting in traffic. It's like, take a note from like one state over, like even Pennsylvania, like they all get along and just the traffic moves, and it's selfishness is what it is. Everyone's trying to get in front of each other.
Yeah.
All right, Jade, bad habit you want to shake?
Talk bad about myself.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's like this weird thing where I'll just be like, "Oh, I'm stupid," or this or that, and it's like, well, I need to be nicer to myself.
Yes.
So she helps me with that.
Be
She
nice
helps me.
to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even though they're just like words, and like maybe even if I don't believe it, or I'm just saying it because I feel uncomfortable in a situation, like I'm still like programming my brain to think that. So.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's good, and that's good that you have Aubrie to bounce you out there.
Yeah.
What about you, Aubrie? Bad habit you want to shake?
I mean, mine is probably being sedentary. Like, I need to exercise more.
Okay.
I love to read, and like I'm super introverted. I feel like all the activities I enjoy require me to sit.
Right.
And so I'm like, that's something that like I'm constantly having to force myself to do because I'm just, yeah, that's a bad habit.
Yeah. No, I got to do the same thing. All right, both of you guys, what's on your record player right now, or your CD player, or what are you listening to on rotation?
Let me look at my phone. I'm always listening to so many different things, but actually, Aubrie and I have like a press day today, and I thought it started at 1 and it started at 10. And coming from somebody who hates when people are late, I was like rushing over here. But then my savior is always music, and I just felt like listening to I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. So that's what I was right here, and I was singing, and I was like, Aubrie, I need to do this song. But I love all music. I've been listening to a lot of blues lately, like like old blues and yeah.
Looking through mine, I'm like,
what have you just listened to? Like Justin Bieber.
That's all right.
That's right. Playing on repeat is Blackout Days by Fantagram.
Oh, Fantagram. That is the guy from Outkast.
Oh, is
right?
It?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh wait, I'm half right. Okay. So there is a group called Big Grams, and it's Big Boy and Fantagram.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
It's amazing.
Well, I have to listen to that.
Yeah. And I noticed you have a Death Row record shirt on too. So you guys are definitely. I'm the same way. I listen to everything, and what's really funny is like I never really listened to too much country, but I'm finding more and more like good artists like you and a lot of people that are in that. And I'm not just saying your country, but I mean, I get a lot of people from Nashville just from Big Feet. And I'm starting to like really get into it now. And I would have never listened to it before, really. My mind wasn't closed about it. It's just, I didn't know it existed. When I hear country music on the radio or I see it on TV, it's kind of this top 10 pop country stuff that I'll probably never like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But there's that edgy, cooler stuff that you guys do, and I'm really digging it.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, Jade, guilty pleasure song of all time. Like it could be
the one I
old. That counts.
Guilty pleasure song. I don't know. I guess the one that throws most people off guard, because I listen to like a lot of old country, punk, rock and roll, is when like I'll put on like some Jack Johnson or something, and like, you listen to this and it's like, dude, I can be like having the worst day ever. Yes, Banana Pancakes specifically. If I want to jump off a bridge, like that song. I don't know why. It's just like I think when I was little, I heard it when I was going through something in my childhood, and I just my neural pathways connected to like it's my medicine for hard times. So people don't know about me, but I kind of love him.
I think that's really cool, actually. My wife's a huge Jack Johnson fan. And I listen to like a lot of like heavier stuff. I like punk and things like that.
Yeah, same. It's kind of like,
and I always appreciated the musicality of it, but I never really got it. So I asked her, I was like, what is it about this that you like so much? And she's just like, it just makes me happy. Yeah. I was like, duh. Because I listen to music that essentially can make you pretty angry. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a weird thing. And that's why it's like, it's not guilty, but it's just like strange to me. Is because like the sadder songs usually generate more joy in me. Like and I'm like, yes, I'm not so alone. Like everyone's hurting like me. But then Jack Johnson is more of like that, like it's all good, which I don't usually gravitate toward. But for whatever reason, Banana Pancakes.
Yeah. And I know exactly what song you're talking about. I've heard it a million times.
I bet.
Actually, what's even crazier is our wedding song is a Jack Johnson song.
Hey,
it's Angel.
Oh,
you know that one? Yeah.
Of course.
So when her phone rings, that's the song that goes off when I call.
Oh.
So I always hear that. I always hear that one. How about you?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I hate to say guilty pleasure because I don't want to insult anyone's music.
No.
There's stuff that I like, what people probably wouldn't expect me to listen to. Like I listen to Ariana Grande, I listen to like pop music, Lady Gaga. So I like the most recent one was probably like No Tears Left to Cry, Ariana Grande. I listened to that one.
Dude, I listen to her when I'm running. Talk about trying not to be sedentary.
Yeah.
if you're trying to go on a jog, just listen to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does she sing this good?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I relate too. I can, listen to the poppiest pop and then listen to like death metal, I can listen to anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I would say like definitely like, well, I like Lady Gaga. I don't even think that's a guilty pleasure. I think she's really good.
But it's like really, it's pop, it's just not what you might expect. But yeah, I think they're great. They're really talented. Yeah.
I think for me, it'd be like Maroon 5 or something like,
Nice.
because they kind of, once again, we don't want to kill anybody's, we don't want to yuck anybody's yum, right? But they're not that great. But I like the songs. They stick in my head.
Yeah.
All right, one more question. How much fun did you have here today on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being hell fucking yeah?
10 hell fucking yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. And
I'm a 3.5.
yeah, one time someone gave me an 8 and I was like,
oh, that's like one time one of my boyfriends said I was a 7.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that is so mean.
I know, I'll never forget it.
Wow.
7 and 8s can kick rocks.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, dude, you just got to say 10. Like you have to say 10. Like even if it wasn't 8, you got to say 10. Otherwise I have to cut it out. You have to say hell fucking yeah. That's the point of the show.
Wow, that's funny.
I was like, I appreciate your honesty, but redo. So yeah, Breaking Point's out digitally October 22nd. And then the physical copies, you said December. Do you have a date or?
Do we? I don't know the date for the physical. Just know it's in December. Sorry.
Sometime in December. Get it for Christmas. Get it for Christmas. That it should be before the 25th.
Yeah.
And it's available for pre-order on JACKSONSELLERS.com, Bandcamp, Amazon, all that fun stuff. I had a great time, guys. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for the awesome music, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you.
It's the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast.